3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to episode X of the Have We Made It Yet podcast. The reason why it's episode X is just because I'm not even sure if we're going to include this in the canon of our podcast, Josh, because it is more of a rekindling of our relationship with our guests and most loyal listeners here. My name's Lucas Ng, the actor portion of this podcast, and I am joined by my co-host,
Mr. Josh Young, the comedian portion of this podcast. And that's a very interesting question. Should we incorporate this episode into our Have We Made It Yet cinematic podcast universe? And I'm a bit torn. I feel like maybe we should, because it is, you know, we're supposed to show like what it's like trying to make it. And this is, you know, even though this may not be part of our regularly scheduled program since we were gone for 4 months.
Yeah.
But this is, I mean, that happens as well. You know, it's just life gets busy. Sometimes you drop off a little bit. And then, like, you know, should we stay true to the maybe the making it journey and experience, and should we give this the canon number of 77? I think.
Oh, what a holy number. No, we can't put this as 77. This is such a holy number.
Is it or is it just,
well,
because seven's a lucky number?
Oh yeah. We'll discuss that post show. We'll discuss that. But I mean, you bring up a good point, Josh. This is the warts and all of making it here. It kind of got me worried for a second, just because you know, like how you sometimes forget to like lock your car up when you park it. Did I even say what the name of this podcast is? If I haven't yet,
I think you did.
Okay, all right.
Did you?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, take two. What podcast is this?
Welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. Awesome. And as is the namesake of our podcast, Mr. Josh Young, I got to ask you this most important of questions. Mr. Josh Young, have you made it yet?
I have not made it yet. And I don't know, maybe it feels good to say it again after 4 or 5 months, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a constant reminder that, you know, we haven't made it yet. But yeah, no, I haven't made it yet. I feel like in the last 4 months, I've done a few shows. I did some more traveling for like a month and a half. We'll talk more about that. But no, I don't feel like I've made it yet. I don't feel like I've done any specific steps in the last 3 to 4 months that have felt like I'm closer, though. I think out of the last 3-4 months away, and kind of like having all these different things happen in life, where, you know, I just feel like now I'm coming back to it as we're doing our podcast again. And we are doing it again. We're coming back with more episodes on a more regular schedule in the new year. So definitely look forward to that. But now that I'm coming back to refocusing on these creative pursuits, it's like I want to have more steps in, more objectives accomplished, get back into it. So I do want to, you know, show that instead of the have we made it yet, we're gonna start doing more how are you making it yet? What are some, you know, things you're gonna do or you're planning on doing? And I plan on doing some stuff which I can get into a bit later, but I don't want to take up all the intro time, Lucas, because it's a very important question. And it's a very important question I need to ask you. So Lucas John Ng, have you made it? Have you made it yet?
A fervent no.
Fervent, good word.
Thank you. I've been brushing up.
That's a bonus word on Scrabble, I feel like.
Oh, nice. No, and we're gonna get into that a little bit more, but and it's not for a lack of trying, but what I just realized is, yes, I did move into a new city. And even though Toronto and Vancouver are in the same country, in some ways different, of course, but in some ways a lot of the same ways. I still, again, have to start from ground one. A lot of the same acting coaches that I worked with back in Toronto don't know each other back in Vancouver, vice versa too. And so as a result, it's that growing realization that even though getting an agent was, I'm really grateful for getting an agent pretty fast in my transition coming here, that casting directors don't know me. The acting community does not know me. I need to make more connections. I need to meet with more people. I need to meet with more coaches here. And this past 4 months, even though it's been incredibly busy with work, it's been on that kind of trend of meeting people face to face. And this podcast has been a huge part. The people that we've had for former guests, I finally met in person. And they've been just as welcoming, helpful, friendly as they were back in our show that we had them on before. Have not made it yet, man, but dude, I'm pressing, man. I'm doing the very, 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 very best I can. And most recently, I had to let go of my former job at a animation studio. Right. And we'll get into that maybe a little bit more later, but it's just the overall thing of this city is hard. So keep on it, Lucas. You're going to be okay. Just keep going, man. Man, Josh, you said you went traveling. Where'd you go to again?
Yeah. So, I mean, our last episode was in July, end of July. And then in August, mid-August, I went back to Vancouver, Coquitlam, where I went to high school and grew up. And well, technically, my 10-year high school reunion was in 2020. Yeah. But there was a little thing called the pandemic that happened. So it just pushed everything. And because I was nominated or chosen to be valedictorian, people just kept asking me, it's like, oh, are you planning the graduation or the reunion? Are you going to be planning the reunion? And enough people asked me where it's like, who am I? Am I supposed to be planning this reunion? Who's planning this? And yeah, we just don't have that culture in Canada to have like a school organize a reunion. Like the school, like in the States, I feel like they're so much bigger, or they have a history of it, where the administration would have, all the former alumni in some kind of book or communication. Then, they would be the ones organizing it. But then it just came down to, it's like, who's going to be the one to do it? So enough people asked me, and I realized, I guess it is me. So I, started like a Facebook event page. Asking, trying to link up with as many people as I remember in high school. That was supposed to happen like Christmas of 2020. The pandemic hit and we pushed it back. It's like, oh, maybe spring of 2021, things will be better, right? No, they were not. No, we're not stable enough. And then it just got pushed all the way to like August of 2022. So I thought, it's like, well, that could work. We'll call it the 2022 reunion, because it's like 2020 TOO reunion, but it's like 2020 because it's 20 and then it's 20. So
did you think of that one?
Yeah, I thought of that, but then I realized, but then we just didn't even use it in the end with whatever trying to market it. But so I asked a couple friends from high school, same senior year, graduating year, to help me organize. And without their help, definitely wouldn't have been able to make it. Have the reunion really created and organized and like reach out to different people to try and get them to come. So thank you to Ken and Sara. They actually both have their own businesses. Ken has like a bubble tea shop.
Oh shit.
Yeah, in Poco. No, in nice. Port Coquitlam. Called Blend Bubble Tea. Blend. Yes. And then my other friend, Sara, has her own kind of like a life coaching type of business. Nice. Oh man, I really hope I'm not incorrectly describing it, but I
want to put their links at the bottom later.
Yeah, called Soulect is like, why not? So yeah, we'll put them in there. But appreciate their help and like, when it comes to creating these type of things, like I reached out to them months ahead of time. We set up meetings to organize it. And in the end of the day, you know, we had to be adaptive and come up with different solutions. And we were able to do a nice little barbecue slash reunion type of thing in Coquitlam at Town Center Park, which was nice. So
Were you?
basically I went back for that. So like I flew back mid-August to go do that with them and see some people from high school, which was interesting. It was like 12 years now, but it was
Holy shit.
still interesting to see some people. And then I realized, yeah, that's enough planning for me. I'm not going to do the 20-year one. So if somebody else wants to do the 20-year one, I had my fill of
Oh
planning
man,
reunions.
it kind of reminds me. It's like I was watching this one Louis C.K. special, and it was like in a really big theater of like maybe like 1,000 people or so, like similar to like QE or whatever Sony Center at in Toronto. Or sorry, it's called the Meridian now, right?
Meridian Hall, yeah, I think so.
And he was just saying, it's like, you know, for all these people here, we're filming this right now in June. This room this big. Some of you might this might be your last year here.
Oh my god.
And then it just like really grew to me. It's like, yeah, you know, when you like look around your people that are, and you said like in 20-year reunion, it's like at your 10-year reunion, when you're like looking across the people, it's like, huh, this might be the last time I'll ever see some of these people.
Because they might die.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, holy shit, you know, like in a sample size that big. I'm not sure how many people went to your reunion, but like in a sample size that big, in addition to the amount of time, which is 10 years, it's like, huh, you look around, you're like, shit, this might be one of the last times.
That's true. That's true. Wow. I didn't realize that. That's fair. But granted, also not that many people showed up to the reunion. So maybe the odds are a little lower. I feel like the 10-year reunion is like one where everybody still kind of looks more or less similar.
Really?
I think so. Well, my school was like super Asian, like literally almost everybody looks the same. But like I think 20 years, that's when you're just gonna start seeing like, oh, who aged well, who, you know, had it rough.
Yeah.
In the last 20 years. But either way, there is still very interesting nostalgic feeling to it, because like you're seeing people for the first time after 10 years. Sometimes it's like 10, 12 years. And it's like, oh shit,
I have a question.
Yeah.
As valedictorian, did you have an extra added pressure to have the best glow up story?
Oh my God, did I?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I mean, everybody has their own like glow up, hopefully. I don't know. I also don't know if I fully, you know, look that different or changed. I mean, for a bit, I was worried about my hairline, but that during the pandemic and everything. But thankfully, you know, I've managed to find a reasonably acceptable solution to it. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I'm always let's just always keep glowing up, Lucas.
Yeah.
Once we make it, it's like age is but $1 amount. Let's just make
age
it, and then
but $1 amount,
and then just use all that making it money to make sure we don't look any older. We're also Asian, so we have a longer lead time.
Are you saying that one thing? I saw this one meme. It's like, no, you're not ugly. You're just poor.
Oh yeah. No,
that sounds like such an Andrew Tate shit. I'm like, ugh.
I mean, if you're depending on like how you get your money, and if you're rich, right? It's like you might have less stress or more stress, but like you'll be able to like use. I mean, I think for men,
yeah,
the biggest thing that defines how young or old we look is our hairline. That's pretty much it. Like, sure, you could be like a heavier set, gain more weight, lose more weight. But even if you're heavier set, but you have like a good solid hairline, and it's like it's a good hair, then it's like you still look like a younger, heavier set person. So really, I think that's like the biggest one, because you could be like 23, have a receding hairline already, and you just look like you're in your 30s already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's just hair for men. So hair, as long as, you could do a hair system, you could do a hair transplant, and that just costs money. That's just money and time.
Yeah, I think you'd also have to look over your like skin too, like
Yeah,
wear
true.
your sunscreen and oh man, what's really kind of freaking me out? It's gonna sound so vain, but like the crow's feet,
Mm.
the happy lines. It's like, oh man, I'm going into my mid-30s, my late mid-30s next month, and it's I'm just
36. You're turning 36.
well, I'm turning 35.
Oh, 35.
I'm counting any
so
days after 35 is late 30s.
Okay. Yes. So I've thought about this. When are
Okay.
your early, and when are your mid, and when are your lates in your decade, right? My idea of that is your early 20s or your early 30s is when you're 30 to
32?
33. No, sorry. 30, 32,
Oh,
33.
Okay.
And then once you turn 34, you're
Yeah.
in your mid 30s.
Sure.
And then 34 to 36 is your
Oh.
mid 30s. And then when you turn 37, that's your late 30s.
Because I never went to a place that had middle school, so there's really no differentiation between like elementary and high school. So like there's no middle school for me. I think where I draw the line is a second after 35 is literally my late 30s. So yeah, so like 30 to 34.59 of the clock is my mid 30s, or sorry, is my 30s, and then goes into late 30s.
Your early 30s.
Early 30s, yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is we're literally only in our mid 20s, mid 30s, mid 40s. For the split second it strikes midnight.
Sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to leave it in the comments to have this discussion then. We'll have this decades discussion as like what's early, what's mid, what's late.
But that's interesting. You say 37 is late 30s.
Yeah, because I guess I would define, I'm defining it based upon just splitting your 30s decade by 3. So what's the first third? What's your middle third? What's your last third? And I feel like, maybe as a vibe, like, or a personality, because your early 30s is going to be a different vibe from your late 30s to your mid 30s.
Sure.
Right. So I'm also just now in the early 30s portion, and that was, yeah. So now that's like a whole new identity to have to kind of accept or realize. But
how old are you again?
I just turned 30 in April.
Oh, dude, you are, wow.
Why?
No, that's just I just because like I've I've known you. I don't know. It feels weird to feel like I've known you for so long, but it also not know how old you are. I just always assumed you were 3 years younger than me. So I thought you were 31.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's fair as well, because I'm also out of like our little like Toronto Asian group. Like I've always been the youngest one out of that group.
Did you skip a grade?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought that's why like you're like boy genius with like being valedictorian and
actually valedictorian. I think that was literally probably out of all the candidates that we had for valedictorian, because we did like nomination speeches. We spoke in front of our graduating class. That I had like the worst grades out of all of them.
Get out of here.
No, I did. Like I was a meh student. Maybe I had like a 90-ish average or whatever. Like, whereas
that's mid.
Yeah, that's mid for my school.
Where'd you go?
A pine tree in Coquitlam, but it's like a super. It's a super Asian high school. Yeah, a lot of like kind of high achievers, but I was like, yeah, maybe I was like around 90-ish, but there's like everybody else pretty much who was selected was like 95 and above average. Like these were like really, smart, talented people. But the thing that worked for me was like we did speeches in front of everybody. I went last and I was just the funniest. And I was just the one that I think could speak in front of everybody the most confidently.
And they choose the person with the most charismatic voice.
No, well, I think they chose the person that would be the least. Oddly enough, maybe it was like the more entertaining one,
Awesome.
or the one who was like the easiest to kind of like listen to or watch, or is like, because I threw in jokes. I tried to be like personable, like not necessarily say too many like generic. It's like it's like it's like we made it, and it's like, oh, the platitudes is like, some advice I have is like the longest road is the hardest road. But it's like no, I kind of just like went in there. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm not the smartest, but I'm this and that. I'm currently single. Oh my God, I've used that I'm currently single joke since for a long time now. But
bro, your one night stand joke, man, did you use that?
No, I wanted to make it. It's like, oh, I'm single. I like long walks on the beach, and just tried to be like down to earth and stuff. So I got like more laughs, and I think that was the one popularity contest I won.
Nice.
So let's not get down back into this. I realize I've been going on about it, but basically I went back in mid-August to Vancouver, to Coquitlam for that. And then I went traveling to Mexico and Colombia for like a month and a half. And that was fun. I had a couple weeks vacation. Went to Medellin in Colombia.
Oh, dude, show me your cup.
Oh, yeah. I got a Medellin Starbucks mug because that's what I collect, because I'm a sheep of the corporate industrial complex. But yeah, so did that, and then went to Oaxaca for Day of the Dead. Dia de los Muertos, which was fun. It was a very cool atmosphere, environment with the face paint and all the festivities. And then I went back to Mexico City, and I was able to do another show in Mexico City, which was cool. I hooked up with the same Mexican comedians that I met there in March. So Martin, Leon, and Mariana, I think Ramirez. Oh, I should have checked her last name. Yes, Mariana Ramirez. And cool. I did their English show again. Our headlined it again, did another 15 minutes, which was nice.
Oh, you headlined it?
Yeah, I was I guess I'm just I took it. And then I guess I'm just an international paid comedian now.
God damn.
But yeah, so that was fun. And then I came back, and that was, I just didn't feel like I would be able to really podcast during that time. And that was the last 4 months of my life.
Dude, sick. Here, you just want to talk about your meeting with a local Toronto celebrity?
Oh, yes. This is also kind of like a comedy type of meet. But
dude, this guy making connections. Look at him.
Yes, a comedy connection. But it was, so basically I did a show in Vancouver 2 years ago. No, not 2 years. I'm losing track of time. December 2021. And this guy was the host and kind of like the producer of the show in Vancouver, Jaron Drew. And kind of out of nowhere, a couple of weeks ago, he messages me on Instagram. It's like, hey, are you in Toronto? And I'm like, yes, I'm in Toronto this weekend, is what he said. What he asked me is like, oh, cool, because I won this MasterCard experience to go to a Raptors game. And it's like, but I'm in Vancouver, I can't go to it. Like, do you want to take it? So it's like, oh, yeah.
Damn.
Definitely. It's like, I've never gone to a Raptors game before. Oddly enough, a week earlier, our mutual friend and longtime listener, number one fan, I swear, Charles.
Oh, yes.
He actually offered me tickets to a Raptors game as well, like literally a week earlier, which again, never happened to me before, but he offered it. I was just a little too late on the draw, and somebody else already responded. But then this week, a week later, I get this offer. It's a whole VIP experience at a MasterCard executive suite for like this contest. And then another part of it was that you get to go to what was the restaurant called? It was
11.
No, it was something the host Mantra. Yeah, it was Mantra by the host in Don Mills. It was a great Indian restaurant where you could go and have lunch with Nav Bhatia, the super fan in the NBA, and you can have lunch with him. And it was great. Wasn't expecting, too much, because it's like I didn't win the competition, but it was like, offered to me. So it was like when we got there, it's like, oh, there's Nav Bhatia. He comes over. Oh, let's take a photo. Puts the championship ring on my finger. It's like, oh, let's take a photo with the championship ring. It's like, okay, cool. It happened so quickly. I fortunately didn't get a chance to actually like look at it, but it was big. It was oversized. It was heavy. So, it was nice to be able to do that. And then they gave us free jerseys. Great lunch.
Oh, you got a free jersey?
Yeah, I got a free jersey, which was nice. And it's like a swingman jersey too. And then went to the game, which was great, versus Dallas Mavericks. It was a great game. Was in executive suite, which I'd never been to before either. And first Raptors game, I wore my Jeremy Lin Raptors jersey because you got to represent the OG. And yeah, it was great first experience. And I don't think I'll ever be able to go to another Raptors game again, because what's my next Raptors game going to be? In the nosebleeds? I can't do that to myself.
Bro, we next time, honestly, no, let's go. We're not a top tier team anymore, so tickets are again affordable. So we're gonna sit 300 level. We're gonna get rough and rowdy. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's affordable. I don't think those ticket prices are gonna come down. It's Toronto. They're not gonna $60.
We'd have to be at the bottom of the league for like a few years before they start lowering any prices. But yeah, maybe I'm just spoiled now, because all I'm thinking is like, well, I'll only go to the next Raptors game if it's courtside.
Oh my God.
And if Drake gives me a teddy bear jacket, that's the only situation where I'm going to go to another Raptors game in person.
Nice.
But yeah, no, that was a great experience, because I've also never had anything like that happen to me before. Like I've never been that lucky to like win a contest and like, go on this kind of experience, and it's like luxury, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, wow, I guess I'm a little extra lucky, the fact that a friend of mine got it, and then they offered it to me as well. And it's like, cool. I'll use up all that luck. So thank you again, Jaron Drew, for he's a comedian. You can follow him as well. What's his you could follow him on at Jaron Drew. You could follow him on Instagram at Jaron Drew, spelled JERENDREW, Jaron Drew.
Nice.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all the exciting things that happened to me in the last 4 or 5 months. But Lucas, let's tell our listeners, and Charles, who's our best listener, of that what's been going on the last 4 months specifically. You left your animation job.
Yeah. No, I don't think they listen to this. No, they shouldn't. But no, it's. I think I said this in the last episode, but it literally has been the busiest summer of my life. And I don't say this in any kind of negative way. It's been an incredible blessing, just because the amount of times at bat that I've had with my new agent has been incredible, on great shows. I think Virgin River, there's been a few auditions with that, a bunch of CBC stuff, in addition to a bunch of cool commercials to really sink my teeth into. Yeah, and it's keeping me incredibly busy and on my feet. I think just one of the major things that's I don't know. That could be a little distracting at times. It's just the overall thing of moving back into a new city.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little weird at times because I mean this is still home. Like my folks live only half an hour away,
Yeah.
but it's finding that new within the old that I'm really trying to make sure that I keep
Mm.
on going to, because like relationships have changed. I come back into the city and my friends have kids. I come back into the
Yeah.
city and and friends are different people than they were 8 years ago when I first knew them. And so it's about reintegrating myself and finding out like where do I really fit in here, and how can I maintain a sense of stability when my mind is just constantly trying to figure out like where I belong. Um, but I went to Europe, saw an amazing friend get married.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible, man. A wedding at a castle. Apparently that happens a lot. That's like second only to like churches. But like castles are just like, oh, I get married in a castle. It's just
Yeah.
a thing people say. But incredible. A bunch of North Americans also went. People from New York, which she currently resides in, but we were all there at the same wedding. And when we went in there, we're like, huh, we're not worthy. Should I be helping lift something? Like I feel like I should be the help, like we're all
Right.
walking in there with our like nicer suits and everything like that. We're just like, nah, this we can't do this. And then the dining room is like 30-foot ceilings, vaulted paintings of like Jesus or whatever.
Mm.
And yeah, just open my eyes up to like how things come full circle, because I had known my friend in 2010 and we reconnected all this time for 10 plus years. And it's these kind of relationships that are making me incredibly grateful for me to still have in terms of all the things that are moving around me, to still have some stability in terms of my friendships that I have here too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying hard, man, and we'll keep everyone posted and all that. Josh, we're looking into 2023 right now. It's coming up soon.
Mm.
Like we're recording this on December 6th right now. So we have about just less than a month to look forward to until the next year.
Yeah.
Do you have any resolutions going into the new year?
Into the new year, yes. I feel like this year, uh, you know, different things happened in life. Um, I guess I didn't mention this that much before, but I did meet a girl in Mexico in March, and it was quite a whirlwind experience. It was a great experience. Never had that kind of like chemistry or and stuff like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And she was supposed to come to Toronto during the summer, but wasn't able to get like a visa approved in time. And this trip actually to Mexico and Colombia was originally planned to kind of like go see her, spend time with her. But before then, things ended up not working out, and that happens. Life happens like that, and I'm kind of grateful and thankful to have the experience I had with her.
Mm-hmm.
So this year has definitely been one of the years to remember, 2022,
Mm-hmm.
in my life. And but now coming back and we're back at this podcast and trying to make it. I think 2023, I'm going to refocus on you know comedy and podcasting. I think I'm going to refocus on this podcast and really get back into a rhythm with the sleep podcast. I know I keep saying that every other podcast episode we do here,
Mm-hmm.
but I now like traveling abroad for a while and then working working remotely, and still currently working at Flip. Like I think is like maybe giving this podcast a shot at creating maybe a side hustle or a side gig that could potentially turn into something a bit more stable or a bit more long term. I think that's something that's looking more and more enticing to me. So my goal in 2023 is to really, really focus on the sleep podcast and see where I can go with that, become more consistent. And to kick it off with a bang, Lucas, I'm happy to announce, going into my commercial voice, I'm happy to announce that starting on December 25th, the Sleep with Josh podcast is coming back with a 12 Days of Christmas spectacular.
Woo, woo.
Starting with 12 episodes, starting every day, starting on December 25th, going into the new year, where we're going to come back and we're just going to hit the ground running with a new episode for 12 straight days. And then after that, I'm going to aim for 1 to 2 episodes a week. I'm going to get back in there in that grind. I'm going to hold myself accountable by announcing it here to meet that deadline. So it's going to be a challenge, Lucas. It's going to be a challenge, and it's going to be interesting. And I'm gonna see if I can do it. I'm gonna see if I can do it, Lucas. Because I got to hold myself accountable and get back on this grind that we're going.
Not too interesting though, Josh, because your listeners do have to sleep after listening to you. So
there's no problem with that, Lucas, because as we all know, and I've seen you do this occasionally throughout the podcast, listening to me talk, I see those micro yawns. I see like those little, it's like, yep. And you just swallowing it. And you're not the first one, Lucas. You're not the first, and you won't be the last. I've talked to many of people where I talk about something in public and I meet them for the first time. I can see them swallow yawns. I can see people swallow yawns when they listen to me talk. And I could be talking about the most interesting thing in the world. Doesn't matter. I just have this power, Lucas. It's a power.
I think I might have found our minute highlight in this thing. So I'm just going to mark down the time right now. Micro yawns.
It's my gift and it's my curse.
Literally,
so
though.
You don't need to worry. Like the Incredible Hulk. Like that's my secret. I'm always boring.
Shit, Josh.
Yeah, that's the just cut that into the
I'm always boring.
1 minute clip. That's my secret. I'm always boring. Yeah. But it is that's the reality. So that's gonna come. We're gonna release it December 25th. Sleep with Josh. So people better be sleeping with me. Coming into the new year every week. We're gonna get back on it. So that's my resolution. That's my plan. And I'm going to stick to it. Lucas, 2023. You're now entering your late 30s.
Shut up, man. Yeah, I kind of am. Yeah.
What is your resolution?
I think it's more of a mindset change. I'm gonna stop being so hard on myself. Yeah, like there is no such thing as a timeline. There is no such thing as the only deadlines that we really put on ourselves are the self-imposed ones, especially in a creative craft. So just take the time to really progress, take the time to really connect, meet people, take the time to be a better friend to myself. And I think that really starts off with having more alone time. So with that, I'm going to try to take more time away from screen time and everything like that. Just at least I'm going to read a play a month. I know it doesn't sound like a lot. That's only like 12 plays in a year, but I'm going to start doing that. Read a play a month. Going to start watching more higher caliber films.
Higher caliber films?
Yeah, because I don't know why. Like my partner is away right now. She's on a business trip. But I was watching the Hangover trilogy, which I did not know it came in a trilogy format.
You didn't know there was a Hangover Part 1, Part 2, Part 3?
I knew there was a 1 and 2. I didn't know there was a 3.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I watched that. And I'm like, this is not good usage of my time. Although they had some funny bits, but
yeah, the series was in decline. I mean, the third one, they just went back to Vegas. Cool.
Yeah, spoiler alert for the people who have yet to see Mr. Chow return again. Oh, that's another one.
Oh. It has been over a decade. I feel like I don't even remember.
But I mean, in saying all that, though, I did watch The Bear. I did watch Andor. Amazing series. Oh my god, amazing. So yeah, just don't be so hard on myself, and read 1 play a month, and at least like watch a better movie once a month. I'm gonna stick to that.
Have you seen The Menu?
I haven't. Where do you watch that?
Um,
Is it on Netflix or?
no,
Okay,
it's
okay.
in theaters. I was gonna
I
say
see.
it's in theaters. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow, or a week or before whatever this thing comes out. But I hear that's great. I
Yeah.
hear the menu is great, and yeah, I agree. We should watch higher caliber. But then it's like sometimes I want to watch higher caliber stuff like The Sopranos or The Wire. But then also it's like when you're kind of like exhausted from the day, you just want something like nice and simple, half hour thing that you can watch for 2 to 3 hours for some
Yeah.
reason. It's like episodics, but it's just
Oh,
easier to watch and easier to digest.
on that though, I started Arrested Development today.
You never watch Arrested Development? Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh,
I'm so jealous.
incredible. Episode
You
one, he's like, I'm gonna become an actor. You haven't even done one audition yet.
Okay, I think Arrested Development actually is the best if you watch it for the first time when you're binging it, because then the inside jokes, the callbacks, the because it's so intricate in how they do callbacks and they tie in jokes that will keep going throughout the entire season. Like they're so good at that like by watching it one after the other, you can pick up on it much quicker. And it just feels like it's almost one whole huge episode. So
Nice.
definitely watch all the seasons except for the last season, which is absolute trash. The last season is
Oh,
unwatchable.
is it the same writers? What
It's the
happened?
same writers, but I think by that point it had already been years. So it's
Uh,
like the first two to three seasons of Arrested Development was on Fox, and that was their first run. Then they came back on Netflix for 3 more seasons.
oh.
I thought the first season they came back was decent. The second season they came back was also all right, but then the very last season was unwatchable because all of the actors and everybody they just couldn't get them scheduled to appear at the same time. So you could see all these jutty cuts. You could clearly see green screen. The writing was all over the place. It was just don't watch the last one. It's literally Game of Thrones. It's pretty
Oh
much
shit.
where the first few seasons are great. Then the like once you're out of the original material, then the like penultimate seasons were like it was still okay. It was still all right. But then the last season was absolutely unwatchable. So just to give you a little bit of a heads up, but I'm jealous because if I could watch Arrested Development again with
Yeah.
like for the first time.
But amazing, just amazing to see where the cast like originated from. Like Will Arnett is in there, the guy from Veep, Jason Bateman, of course, Jeffrey Tambor. Just amazing comedic talent, man. The gay pirates at episode one, like it's so fun.
It's too good. It's too good.
How do we end these things off again?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Speak to the masses about your handles. Where can people find you,
yeah,
Josh?
that's what we did. My goodness, it is. We haven't podcasted in so long, but yes. So you can follow me at Josh Young Comedy YANG at across everything. Instagram, Twitter, yada yada, or if Twitter still exists eventually. But across everything, you can also follow the Sleep with Josh podcast across all your podcast platforms because we're coming back. I mean, there's 62 episodes on there already, so you could still sleep for a good 2 months with me. But we're coming back with the new episodes, 12 days of sleeping with Josh for Christmas, starting on December 25th. And we're going to keep going on from there. And that's my goal, man. And Lucas, what are your handles?
If you do want to see my silly stories, follow it at Lucas John Ing. Ing, again, is just 2 letters, NG, across social media, be it Instagram, because that's basically all I use now. So just Instagram. Or you can find me on Be Real, actually.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's the popular social media, social media of the year. Be Real.
Find me on there, Lucas John Ing, and we can be real together, man, and do that. And also this pod. Okay, boomer. And then you can also find this podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, be it Spotify, Apple, Google Play, at HWMIY podcast. It's an acronym again, HWMIY podcast. And yeah, we'll see you all in the new year. This is going to be a good one, guys. So thank you so much for listening. We will come back with cool guests, cool comedians, cool actors, musicians, everyone. And what's your final word to our listeners, Josh?
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. We'll see you in the new year. It's Michael Jordan's year because it's 2023. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's going to be a new year. We're going to turn over a new leaf. We're going to get back to it and keep making it.
Awesome. Happy whatever everyone celebrates in our broad listener base. I think that rhymed. That was awesome. Okay, see you on Be Real. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.